In my last video, I shot a picture of Saturn using this camera here. It's a fine camera, but it's more or less designed for deep space objects. Well, that begs the question, does a camera make a difference when shooting planetary? Well, let's take a look at this. This is the ZWO-585 planetary camera. Hi, I'm Pat Prokop, and welcome to Heavenly Backyard Astronomy. My last video I edited on August 15th, and I used this ZWO-071MC, which is a one-shot color camera. And this camera is great for shooting deep space objects, and it did a pretty good job with Saturn as well. But I wanted to use a better camera for planetary imagery, so I ordered the new ZWO-ASI 585, and the day I was editing the video from the night before, which was August 14th, this arrived in the mail. I even previewed it in my editing on the last video and said, well, you know, with new planetary equipment comes what? Yeah, you guessed it, clouds and rain. And boy, did that ever occur. Take a look. Yeah, I even mentioned as to how many nights of clouds I would have, and I thought I was going to have at least 5 nights in a row of cloudy weather conditions, but that wasn't even close. It was almost 2 weeks of nights of clouds and rain before I was able to get a clear sky and use the new camera and test it out. Then came August 30th, the first clear night I had in 2 weeks, and it wasn't perfect. The humidity was high, so there was a lot of moisture in the atmosphere, so the seeing wasn't all that great, but I was able to test out the 585 camera. Now, I started testing that, and then again, what happened? Yeah, more clouds started coming in. Even on the night of the test, I started getting clouds. So I had to wait a few more nights. Not until September 6th and 7th did I have somewhat clear nights. They weren't perfect at all. There were some clouds floating by, but there was also some windows of opportunities to test out the cameras. I also wanted to test out these other cameras, and this one here is my first dedicated astronomy camera. I bought this at least 4 years ago. It's the Altair Astro 183C, and it has a small pixel size of 2.4 microns, and that just turns out to be great for planetary observation. As a matter of fact, you can use all kinds of different cameras for planetary observations. As mentioned, I used this large 071 camera. It has a pixel size of 4.8 microns. Now, the ZWO-585, this one here has a micron size of 2.9, the pixel size 2.9 microns. And of course, as I just mentioned, the 183C from Altair Astro has 2.4. You can even shoot with a Canon camera or a Nikon camera as long as you got the T adapter with it. The Canon, this is a T2i, has a pixel size of 4.3 microns. The T7i, the camera I'm shooting this video on, I also had made for, had it designed for astrophotography, has a bit of smaller pixel size. It's down to a 3.72, which is great for both planetary and for deep sky objects. It's kind of like a mix between the two. Also, when shooting planetary, I use a UV IR cut filter. That helps a lot. Also, it's a good idea to use a Barlow. Now, this is the Orion 4-element 2X Barlow, and this actually takes the focal length of your telescope and basically doubles it, effectively doubles your focal length. For example, on the Celestron 11-inch HD that I have, the Edge HD, the focal length, the native focal length is 2,800 millimeters. Well, that's a long focal length. That's way out to here. Anyway, this effectively doubles that to make it, what, 5,600 millimeter focal length, or from f10 to f20. I also have a 3X Explorer Scientific focal extender. It's similar to the Barlow. They both extend the focal length, and this one multiplies it by 3. So this actually would make it an f30 telescope. I didn't use this one yet on this series of video, but I will be using this in future videos. So let's take a look. So here's Saturn with the camera and no Barlow, just at f10 straight through the telescope and just the camera. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down outside to put on the 2x Barlow and see what the difference is from there. So stand by. Look at that. There's the difference. You can see it is a bit bigger in this image right here. So yeah. So let's zoom in, and I had it at 200 zoom before, and let's see, is it more? You can definitely see the Cassini division in the ring here. So I got two issues right now. The planet is low in the sky. It's only about 33 degrees above the horizon, just above the tree line. Of course, when you focus it, you move the actual mirror. And there's some clouds on the way in. So, let's see. That's out of focus, obviously. Getting the focus is very tedious, particularly when you don't have great seeing in the atmosphere. Well, that looks pretty good right there. Still, I'm blurred on the limb of the planet itself. Let me see if I can tune that in a little bit better. Okay, let's bring it out a little bit. So this is the first light for my ZWO-ASI 585 camera. And yeah, there come the clouds. Let's look at the satellite imagery. Right here, I'm living right here, and right in this area here, and there's a little patch of clouds. Let's go into a little bit higher res nighttime image, the clean long wave, and there, yeah, you can see some clouds trying to move in. Again, I'm right there. So yeah, clouds are beginning to move in across my area. So, but look at there's a big patch of clear weather just off to my west, but I gotta get rid of this little guy here that's causing the troubles. And you can see it's definitely dimmed the planet somewhat. So yeah, got issues with that. All right, I'll come back when these clouds get out and when the planet gets a little bit higher up in the sky. We'll try to take another picture here. Okay, it's about an hour and a half later now. It's almost midnight, and looking at the position of Saturn on the over here in Nina, that's Jupiter. Let's do Saturn. I'm going to be doing Jupiter in just a moment, but let's do Saturn. Go back to Saturn and load, and there it is. It's getting it's getting high up in the sky now. There it is, up to 41.2 degrees, almost 41.3 degrees. And that's about the highest it gets, 42 degrees maximum elevation here. So I'm still about an hour away from zenith. So this is going to be the best view of Saturn right now. So let's go get it. And taking a look at Saturn right here with the 2x Barlow on the scope. That's the Celestron 11-inch at f10, but with the Barlow, I guess it's f20 now. And there you can even, in this live picture right here, you can see the rings. Well, of course, the rings and the Cassini division and all that, but you can see the bands in the atmosphere. And even the polar vortex over here, you can almost see that right now. So let's take a look at see how this will be. Well, we're going to take a look at this a little bit later. Usually it looks much better after you stack it in Autostakkert and then polish it up over in RegiStax. Well, we're going to show you that in just a minute, or I'm going to show you that in just a few moments. Anyway, let's do another capture right now. I got the guiding going to be turning on, so I'm setting the guiding right now, and I got my stars selected. And we're going to start the guiding, and I'm going to clear this right now. This hopefully should keep the planet centered in this region of interest, and the region of interest I have set for this one right now is at 640 by 480, and if I make it any smaller, the planet will be too big and it will be just almost impossible to record. Anyway, at this size though, it will fit. Now you notice it's off a little bit on the center. I'm going to move this region of interest over. I can move it with the mouse, but that's very difficult. It's very sensitive, so I'm going to move it with the panning controls here. I'm going to bring it a little bit to the right, and I think I'm going to bring it up 1 or 2 right over there. That puts it in the center. Now I've been noticing throughout the evening hours it's been drifting just a little bit to the right. I guess it's because I'm not tracking with the planet, I'm tracking sidereal. So I'm going to bring this over just a little bit back, right about there. All right, I'm going to keep it at that. All right, let's go into capture. I'm in Sharp Cap, start capture, and this is going to be, I'm going to use 20,000 frames. So this is going to take a while, but I think I can pull it off. I have time, so I'm going to do that. 20,000 frames, let her rip. And with that, we'll see you a little bit later. I just completed a 2,000 frame image capture, and I captured it in a SCR file, and I used a raw 12. This is only a 12-bit camera versus the 14-bit camera of the 585. But nonetheless, it's producing a pretty nice picture right now, and I'm a little bit higher up in the atmosphere. Let's take a look. Here I am right now. There's that big holly tree right there, and it's just cleared past that, and it's right now what, 41, almost 42 degrees high up in the sky, and it gets about 58 degrees up in the sky. That'll be around 2:45 in the morning, almost 3 o'clock in the morning. I don't think I'm going to make it that long, but anyway, I'm going to try Jupiter one more time because the red spot is looking really good, the giant red spot. Let's go back to Jupiter. I'm in orbitals in Nina. There he goes. There's Jupiter. All right. There it is right there, and there's the giant red spot. And I already made one picture of Jupiter. Let's see if I can call it up. There's the planet Jupiter I made about an hour ago, but it was before it got to the trees, and it was only about 28 degrees above the horizon. So I was looking through a lot of atmosphere, and as I get higher up in the sky, hopefully this will clear off a little bit more. So this was about around 10 o'clock, about 2 hours ago. But there you can see the planet Jupiter. Now I have the settings here over at 75 milliseconds, and I have a gain there at 540. We're working now with the Altair Astro 183C camera, and that has a pixel size of 2.4 microns. So it's a little bit smaller pixel size than the ZWO-ASI, which is 2.9, and that produces a bigger size image with a smaller pixel size. So the smaller pixel size you can get on your camera, the better off you are for planetary. All right, once done with recording the video, where do you go from here? Let's take a look. Let's open up this file in Autostakkert, and I have it over here under Planets, September 6th, and this is the one with 5,000 frames. There's the serve file, and there's the planet. Now I'm going to scrub across the top here, and I can see some of the better frames, and that one right there looks really good. So I'm going to use that as my reference frame, and I'm going to first of all do a set it on the planets. I'm going to set dynamic background. I'm going to leave this alone. It's a local, it's not global, and let's do an analyzation on that right now. So it's going to analyze the image, and it's looking at 5,000 frames. There we go. Yeah, we got a good quality graph here. So I'm going to take 50% of those frames at least. That'll give me 2,500. That'll give me 2,500 frames. And over here now, I'm going to set the stacking to 48, whatever that value is, and I'm going to place close to the edge and hit replace. I just keep that on all times, and place grid. And that might be too big, so let's go
too many data points. So let's try it again. Place grid. Yeah, that should work. That should work. I should get a good sampling with that. So let's go ahead and I'm just going to normalize the stack at 80. I have it at 80%. RGB align, save in the folders. I'm not going to sharpen it. I'm going to do that in RegiStax. I just don't like the way it sharpens in Autostakkert. And let her rip. I'm not going to drizzle. Let her rip. All right, now let's open up that file in RegiStax. So I'm going to start RegiStax. I got it on my other screen here. I'm going to pull it over. There's RegiStax there. And I'm going to select the file. And it is over here. Up another directory, up another one, up 9.6. There it is. 5,000 frames. There's the 50% folder. And there's the image that was stacked. And that's what that's what Autostakkert did. It smoothed it out a little bit. Let's play with the wavelets over here. This really makes the difference over here in RegiStax. And I have it set into the Gaussian stacking or sharpening mode. And I have some presets. I'm going to load them in. Let's start off with preset number 1. It's still a little hot there. Let's go to number 2. No. Let's try number 3. See, I saved the different settings in this area here. You can play with these values here. Now, that looks pretty good there. You can even see the polar vortex up here. It looks pretty clean. Okay, let's try. That was number 3. All right, let's go to number 4. A little hot here in the equatorial regions, but look at all the banding in the atmosphere. You can see some banding on the lower portion as well. Yeah, but that's number 4. That's not bad. Let's try number 5. I saved a bunch. I don't like that at all. I like number 3 best. Let's try that. Still looks like it could use some sharpening. Let me pull this up a little bit higher. And I'm also going to sharpen it in Photoshop. But you know, I did get a little bit better picture with the other camera. That's got some noise in it. Let's see if I can bring the noise down. That looks okay. Let's do all. And let's save this image. We'll call it Saturn, yellow. Okay. And let's do the RGB balance here, over here. And auto balance. What do you think? Let's do all. Let's save. I'll call that Saturn RGB. Okay. Not bad, huh? All right.
Try that again. My James Webb Space Telescope coffee cup with coffee. I plan to take more images of Saturn and Jupiter in the coming weeks and coming months. Also, Mars is coming into view right now. Mars is a very bright, ruddy red up in the midnight sky. Also, Uranus and Neptune. You need a telescope to see these guys. However, I'm going to try to do that with the big telescope, the 11-inch telescope. Also, the best viewing of Jupiter is coming up. It'll be later this month on the 26th, I believe. Yes, opposition on the 26th for the planet Jupiter, and it's going to be its closest to the Earth at opposition since the past 70 years. So this is an excellent year to capture several nights of the planet Jupiter. Also, Neptune is coming up on opposition in a couple of weeks, actually about a week, September 16th, and Uranus will be at opposition not until November 9th. So we've got a couple weeks, a couple months even, to work on Uranus. And that's a nice planet. You can see it with a telescope, and I'm going to try to get some better views of that. So in future videos, I plan to show these planets along with other deep space objects as well. And I'm going to try shooting the planets not only with the 11-inch Celestron, which is ideal for planetary, but also with the Orion Eon 130 millimeter, which has a 910 millimeter focal length. I'm going to try using this telescope with the 2x Barlow and the 3x extender, see how that turns out. Well, you're just going to have to watch future videos to find out how that's going to look. I'm curious myself how it's going to turn out. I have no idea. I'm just wishfully hoping at that. So if you like this kind of video on YouTube, please consider subscribing to my channel. And it's called Heavenly Backyard Astronomy because I do all the astronomy in the backyard, and it's a huge garden, and it's heavenly out there during the day and, of course, at night with all the astronomical events going on. You can even show your support by clicking on the new Super Thanks button. But please don't feel compelled to do so. You won't hurt my feelings at all if you don't. And so yeah, if you want to, go ahead and click on that. I've already done it to a couple of my friends. You can add, a couple bucks here, a couple bucks there. This is an expensive hobby anyway. It takes a lot of time and effort. I've been working over a month to produce this video. A lot of it because of the clouds and the dismal weather that I've been going here. And I find out it's not only around here, but also my friends up in the UK, over in Norway, cloudy weather conditions there. To the south in the southern hemisphere, Altair Astro in Australia, he's been under all kinds of cloudy weather conditions. And also in New Zealand, Logan, he's having a rough time getting a lot of astronomical imagery because of the clouds there. So and it's not only here in the southeast United States, but it's all over the world, it seems like. A lot of cloudy weather conditions, more than usual, it seems. Anyway, the planets now are in perfect position to view with the naked eye or with binoculars or with a telescope. And particularly Uranus and Neptune, you need a telescope to spot those planets. Maybe even try Pluto. I'm going to work on that, even though it's no longer a planet, they say. I'm going to try working on that. But, the sky is filled with majestic wonders. Not only the planets, but all kinds of the galaxies and the nebulae, all up in the sky near you. So unless you need rain, clear skies, everyone.